everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back on GT Sport with the April update. It's 1.18 and it's arrived today on GT Sport. So what is new in this update? Some very basic stuff. We've got one new car, a GR.3 Toyota Supra Concept car, and a new track, which is a variation of the track that's already currently on the game of Dragon Trail, although it is completely different. We'll have a full look at that in a minute. I have done about 3 or 4 laps on it, so I've got a basic idea of the track, and we'll show you the lap that we did towards just on the last 4. I think it was the 4th lap we did. It's not the fastest lap obviously, but it was just a lap just to give you an idea of the track. We'll go through to that in a moment after having a little look at all the update features. I was expecting a little bit more in-depth in terms of bug fixes. There doesn't seem to be anything major in terms of bug fixes, which I think is a big shame. I would have rather them concentrate on the actual bugs in the game and penalty system, but there's not been a mention of anything being changed in the penalty system. However, that doesn't mean there hasn't been changes, because it does say obviously other enhancements, etc. So whether there's stuff that has been added behind the scenes, they're not just telling us, we'll find that out over the coming weeks as we find out if the penalty system is any better. There has been other changes which we're going to talk about in a moment and go through them with regards to the DR system, which I was correct. There has been changes to the DR system. I'm not too sure whether it's going to stay the way it is at the moment. So obviously update 1 it's obviously been updated. When you load up the screen, you've got the add-on content, so the new Toyota GR Supra Racing Concept 18. It really reminds me of the BMW Z4 GR3 and GT3 car that's on other games. Obviously, it's got the same. It even feels a bit like that car when you're driving it. So you've got the 2 variations of the single track. So obviously, you've got the reverse variation of this track. So it's one track really. You can just drive it in reverse. So I don't class that as 2 tracks. It is one track, but obviously you can just go around it backwards. It is a good variation though. I drove it, and I think it's going to be a really nice track to drive. So obviously we've got some other stuff added into the GT League stuff and scapes and all the photo stuff, which I'm not really that worried about. My main concern is how the sport mode is playing and the penalty system and stuff. So the Scuba circuit, if that's pronounced right, has been added into the circuit experience. And like I say, there it's just some other things for scapes and stuff, which I'm not. Yeah, they're great. People love them, but I'm not that worried. You know, great they've added some stuff like that in, but more worried about the penalty system. So first up, if you have a little look, the DR system has changed. You can see that I'm now A+, which was the old S-rated driver, and you've got the S, but I'm not A+ on the sportsmanship rating, which is confusing because I expected that to be A+ as well. So I'm S on that. So my guess is they are going to add, or they may have already added, another one beyond A+, or they're going to in the future for like very elite drivers. I am pretty much convinced that it's going to happen, that there is going to be a level beyond A+ for like a class of driver classed as pro, from like similar to iRacing. So you can see now the basic things: tracks, the car added, mention of obviously the new scapes, the brand central additional scapes has been added. Sport mode, with the introduction of the star player system, the current driver rating S will now be changed to A+. Players who have incurred penalties that have yet to clear them during a race will now see a penalty label display below the PSN online ID. So you're going to be able to see people that haven't took their penalties yet. With sport mode, with the introduction of the star players, that's what we just read. The controller, for the Fanatic CSL Elite, has had the centering spring weakened in the menus. Just a very minor touch. And there's been some changes to the photos where you can check the format that the photo's in and stuff. So some brief stuff, and then it says there are various other issues that have been addressed. So that could mean like the blue screen crashes and stuff, but they haven't labelled them. But there's no mention of any change to the algorithm or any sort of changes to the penalty system, and this is a little bit worrying. My guess is that maybe they just wanted to get this content out, and they may be still working on improvements to that penalty system, but we've been waiting a long time now, and I can see a lot of people just thinking that, well, I'm not waiting anymore. But we'll carry on, and hopefully they'll get some sort of improvement out to that penalty system soon, because there are a lot of people that are not happy with the current system. It's just not fair, and I think they need to do something with it soon. So hopefully that'll be sorted soon. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt with this one. You know, I wasn't too worried about the content. Obviously, we've got the it says adding a revamped sport mode. That is all that means really, is they've changed something within the menus of sport mode. They haven't actually changed anything major. I'll go through that very quickly soon. And you've obviously got the new leagues that have been added into the league mode in game. So I haven't really done much of that. I should really do some of them, but I find them a little bit too easy when you're racing against the AI. The AI is just not good enough on this game, in my personal opinion. But with regards to the balance of performance, this surprised me as well. They've only done the balance of performance for the Toyota. Now I know that there is other, they've got it better, but there's still a lot of work that needs doing with that, and I expected some more changes. So this is just the revamped sports mode, as you can see now on screen. It's just laid out differently. Basically, it's just all on one screen, so that you can see, go into it all at once. You can see there. This is just the top 10, so I was just checking it was all okay. It's just labelled that, and like when you click on this now, it's all on one screen like that. It's just displayed differently. That is the revamped sports mode. So it's nothing actually major changed within the sports mode itself. It's just they've changed the menu basically. They've just introduced a new menu. So it's just basic changes. The update's pretty brief. It's obviously new track, new car, and just some very basic changes so far. However, there may be behind the scenes stuff that has happened within the game. I'm hoping that the blue screens has been fixed when going into replay mode and etc. But this is the new track, so we're going to have a little run around this track now and have a little look what it's like. So going into the turn 1, a really fast sweeping corner that goes then into a little bit of a, see, I had to lift there because I'm not used to the track, but it goes into a more tight chicane there, which you can take fairly fast, but you've got to be careful on the exit because you've then got a left-hander. So it's a real technical section, that bit of track. And then it goes on to a bit of straight, so a bit of a power zone for a car, so it's going to mix it up. This track should be a really good track for BOP because I can see some different cars being fairly close, because you've got a power section, then you've got a really tight hairpin here where you need some good traction on acceleration, and then you work your way up into a really fast twisty section now. So this section is going to suit cars like this, the Toyota, which really good at handling, but I don't think the BOP is particularly great on this Toyota yet, which we'll talk about in a bit. So you can see going through the twisty section, some fast corners. We don't judge that well, we're still learning the track. I literally done 3 or 4 laps just to get this video out, and then you go into a really nice, I like these corners, it's like an octagon shape, but you're then going constantly on the power. If you get that perfectly, eventually you'll be able to pretty much take that one long corner flat out, not flat out, but like constantly on the power. So a really nice corner, and then you work your way down this straight into another set of corners, tight corners, you can see. So this is a real trick. You've got to widen the angle into the corner to then straighten the car up for the exit there. If you get that done really well, you're going to gain a lot of time, and then you go onto the back straight. So a real nice track, and I think people are going to enjoy this track when everyone's up to speed on it. I've got a lot of work to do obviously on it. I've only done 3 or 4 laps just to get this video out. So with regards to the BOP for this new car, the Toyota GR.3, my personal view is it's very weak, and like I said in the previous video, I think there's a reason for that, because they don't want to release these cars being overpowered. What they want to do is slowly work them up to the BOP. So what I wanted to do, this car is a very handling car. It's not got a great top speed. It's okay speed wise, but it's not going to challenge like track. I can't see it being competitive on tracks like Monza, but it's an okay car. It's got grip and handling. That's where its ability seems to be. However, it's still not fast enough, and that's because the BOP, I don't think, is really correct. As you can see now, I did a couple laps at Brands Hatch because I know it's a track that I can just jump on, put a reasonable lap in, and test it out. Obviously, we didn't hit a perfect lap, but I could probably knock about at least a second off this lap. But you can instantly see how it's lacking speed. You know, listening to the engine now, it sounds okay. It's nothing special, obviously. There's not much you can do about that. If the car sounds like that, that's how it sounds. However, it really does remind me of the BMW Z4, the way it looks and drives as well. But if you have a little look at the lap times and the splits, you'll see how off pace it is. When you think about the RS01 and the 911 RSR, which are strong cars at this track, can get into probably, I think I can get a 22.5 with BOP on, and obviously default setup when we're in sport mode. And this car, I don't think could do 22s for me. Someone might be able to get to a late 22, but I think it's going to be I think I could get a 23.1 to 3, something like that, pushing it reasonably hard on a decent lap. But it's going to be over half a second off the Porsche, I think. So you can have a little look there, 24.2. There's maybe a second to come off that, maybe a fraction more, but it's definitely at least a full second away from the Porsche, etc., and the RS01 in terms of the speed around this track. So it does need some increasing in BOP, but that's better that they've done it that way. Again, like I said, with the last car they released, the GR1, the Vision GT car, I think it's correct that they do it that way, because it's better to release a car weak than overpowered. So that's probably why it's quite weak, and I can't see it being a very popular choice of car, because it just doesn't have the pace, if I'm brutally honest. It handles really nice, it drives really nice, but it's just not got the overall speed. And you can see how it really does remind me of the BMW Z4. Everything about the car, the way, the shape of it, the size, everything is very familiar to the BMW Z4 GT3. So it's a fairly similar car. It even handles that kind of like handling where it's not a particularly strong car in the straights, but it's got a lot of cornering grip. So if you like the Z4 type handling, you're probably going to like this car as well. So anyway, that's the update. That's a few changes. I did expect some more fixes in terms of the penalty system. However, we don't know if there is some behind the scenes fixes that haven't been announced on them patch notes. I'm going to be getting on sport mode and hopefully checking out the game, and then we'll upload some videos. We've got last night's FIA race, which is worth a watch. I won't even comment on that one. It's a shame what happened, but you do need to check that out. So we'll be uploading that later on today. And we've also got some other great races from Bathurst. We had a really nice race at Bathurst in the GR4 tour that we'll be uploading soon as well. So thanks again for watching. We're going to be back with more videos very soon for GT Sport, Assetto Corsa and Project Cars 2. Make sure you sub the channel if you haven't already subbed. Click that notification button so you don't miss any future videos. And thanks again for watching, everyone.